have been working on several different projects and doing a lot of experimenting in the past couple of weeks, enjoying every second of it. And I wanted to do something a touch different today. I think we should always do something a little different. I was inspired by my colleague in Collage, Miss Mia Bloom. I'll put a link to her channel in the description. She did a whole series, and I believe is continuing to do so, a series on altered books. So I was inspired, and I have done altered books before. I was fortunate enough to come by this children's board book about basketball. Really cool. Good condition. Obviously, it's seen a little love. So I think I'm going to change this into an altered book. Now, I did see some great advice on another Instagram account that I follow, and I'm sorry, I can't remember which one because I'd like to give them credit. And I thought, well, I'm going to scuff all of these up with some sandpaper and then put some gesso on it. But they said, find the edge if you can and just peel the paper off. I'm also going to be okay if there's remnants because I think that'll add to the level of creativity we can take with the board book. So I'm going to spend this video building this board book. I've done it before, like I shared. It's been a minute, but it's a wonderful way to repurpose, resource. I actually did one fairly recently, but it's a little different. I had these wonderful postcards from somewhere in France. They're vintage. I didn't get to go to France yet. But I realized, oh my gosh, they would kind of make a great triptych for a collage. So I had some vintage images and I mixed it and matched it with contemporary magazine images, as well as the background being my favorite thing as of late, security envelopes. And it sits well, and I can store it easily and then refer to it. I really love it. This has been kind of a special project, and I'd like to do it again. I have one here. I really love this image, though. Same thing, same situation. And it's even bigger. It's several postcards. So yes, definitely will use the images of Versailles to be the cover of another collage book. But today we're going to work with this. It's great if you can repurpose and save things from landfills. I still will be using my trusty Kanzen sketchbook. I like going with mixed media because then I can play with it. I can do collage. I can do drawings. This was actually a very, very much a mixed media piece that I did in a class recently. The Hive in South Pasadena, Southern California. If you get a chance, I'll put a link in the description there. Take a class at the Hive. Lots of fun and a really great art community. So I am absolutely going to continue using my mixed media sketchbook, especially for drawing. This little guy, I think, will be good for ideas, experiments, maybe a couple collages. We'll see how time goes today for me. And I'd like to perhaps do the cover maybe for you guys. What I loved what Mia did also is she used some type of tape. I'll have to look at it again. I want to say not duct tape, but some other type of tape for the spine, and then wrote the date on it. That is something I think is brilliant because I need that to sit there and say, well, in 2026, I started playing with anthotypes. More on that later. I'm going to do a video on anthotypes hopefully soon for you all. And I need a place to store things. So I'll know, hey, 2026 was the year of the anthotype, so you'll be able to find it faster if it's in a bookcase or in a drawer. Anywhere it can be found. So what I think I'll do first is, like I shared before, yes, we can come in with gesso and and sandpaper and scuff these up, or scuff them up anyway. You don't really have to add gesso. I am not the mixed media maven that Mia is. I like mixed media, but I just you know me, I kind of stay with my my basic collaging. I like it and it makes me feel good. But a little mixed media in life mixes things up, and that's always good. Will this book be a mixed media project? I hope so. I already have some papers that I want to use. I have some old tea bags. I didn't use the tea. They were stuck in the back of the cupboard, so I just emptied the tea, put them in the compost, and saved the paper. I've seen some really cool stuff happening with that, so I will allow it for my mixed media. I'll allow it for my collage. I do have some beautiful encaustics that I did with a friend of mine who's a wonderful encaustic artist. That's Rhonda Raulston. I'll put her link to her website in the description so you can see her work. But I was at her house and she was showing me how to play with encaustic. Too much fun. So I think these guys are going to land in my book. I think I found them a home. Now, you can't really see it. Well, maybe here you can. I did a bad thing after I left Rhonda's. I decided, hey, I'm going to do some shopping. And I left these encaustics in the car. And look what happened. This guy got stuck with this guy. And something interesting happened. But I felt like I ruined them. So I'll just have to go back to Rhonda's and do this again. Look at this. Just ripped it apart. Not a bad thing because I think that you will find a great home in my new little book. So I'm excited because there's some cool things I can play with. And again, hey, I played with encaustics in 2026, so I'll know where to find them. Do I want to keep this? Yeah. I'm going to recycle. So I'm going to go through this book, and in time lapse, I'm just going to rip the pages out. Alright, we have a nice little book going on here. The back came out really nice. I did take off quite a bit of where it connected here at the spine, but I think it's going to be okay. I could see there was a lot of glue. For the most part, it was fairly easy to remove the imagery. I will either painstakingly come back and remove bits that I don't want, or I'll just leave them and incorporate them with whatever I end up doing. Obviously, I can come back and scuff them up a little bit, put some glue down, no need really to gesso anymore, and put some other type of paper on it. But I think I like this one came out really nice. It just peeled right off. But I think I want to maybe just leave it be and incorporate what I have. Now, I am lucky at this point. I have some long nails, so that was easy for me to get my nail underneath and peel off the imagery. If that is not the case for everybody, my suggestion would be grab an X-Acto knife and try to wiggle it under and then grip it as best you can and slowly pull up. I didn't have to do anything else for this particular book, but perhaps if you find that things get difficult in terms of pulling up the imagery and you really want to remove that paper, I would suggest maybe taking an iron, a regular iron, warming it up a little bit and pressing it on, not too long, to maybe weaken that adhesive underneath, because the book glue is pretty strong in these little board books because kidlets like to chew them and all sorts of things. Okay, see, I'm just I'm in my spare time, maybe watching TV or something. I'll just come in here and try to, again, I'm using my nail, but you can always come in with an X-Acto knife. In fact, there's one right now. I also found, like, at the center here, in the middle of the book, it was actually good sometimes to catch the grip. Not in this case, though, I don't think. Yeah, just, I wouldn't worry about it too much unless you want it for a particular project and craftsmanship is a major issue. You just try to get underneath and then you just pull up a little bit. I may want to keep his face. I kind of like the way that look, and here also. But if you want to the other suggestion would be if there's a lot of debris remaining, then I would just like maybe score it like I'm doing with this X-Acto knife. Give it a bit of a score. That way the glue will adhere to it better, but there's really no need for that. This is a nice rough surface, really pleasant. So it should be pretty good to work with. Yeah, we're ready to go. This is ready to go. I have some really cool mulberry paper left over from another project, so I might be incorporating that in our book. I also found, super excited, these two wrapping paper rolls, and I'm not a big holiday person. I don't have a lot of wrapping paper around. I found these at a yard sale strolling down the street, and they cost me $1, so 50 cents each. Yard sales, you gotta love them. I do love them. So I think they might make way into this piece or into the cover. I like this maybe for the cover because the geometrics, oh my gosh, really like it. So this was a great buy. And Father's Day is coming up at this time, so this is kind of a Father's Day paper. We'll see. I'll get rid of this little scrunchy part. So now the fun part begins. What to do with the cover? So that's what we're going to do sometime, somehow. I can also see the embossing of basketball book on here, so I kind of want to cover that up. This isn't going to be a basketball book anymore. It's a collage book. So let's get collaging. I'm not very good at wrapping presents. I always take on too much or too little, and I get really frustrated. So gift bags, if we ever become really close friends and I give you a gift, it's probably going to be in a gift bag, not wrapped up. Also, I find gift bags more sustainable too, but that's just me right now. So what I did, I measured this little book. It's about 7 by 7. I just did an eye measurement and folded on these creases. The creases here, the square is about 7 by 7 with a little bit of give. I did that because I may want to tuck it in, I may want to tear it off, I don't know yet. And I really wasn't sure what side I was going to use. I think I'm going to start, so this was the front of the book. You can barely see the word basketball book, but the back came out much nicer. It's nice and smooth. So what I can do, actually, if I want, I can come over here with some sandpaper, and I might do that later, but that's the back of the book. So I'm going to use this as the front. So the back of the book will become the front. It doesn't really matter at this point, everything is naked, so we can go ahead and do that. Now, what I will do, and here's a hint, more about sustainability. I have a lot of leftover X-Acto blades that I don't want to use for anything specifically delicate or detailed, but I do hang on to them because I use them for collagraph when I'm cutting cardboard, and also for something like this, because I can just do a very light scoring, just because. You can't go wrong with a light scoring when you're going to be putting down adhesive. I'm going to use Mod Podge for this because that's what I have. I also have some spray adhesive, so that's a possibility, but I normally don't use spray adhesive, but I do have some. I might use that perhaps for some of the mulberry paper on the inside of the book. I also found this coffee, what are these called? The coffee things to keep you from burning your hands. I'll just say coffee cover. I liked the way this looks, so maybe some of my tea bags on this, and that's where the mixed media stuff is going to come in. I have my Liquid Tex acrylic gel medium, so I might put that on and see if something comes of that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get the front cover on, and we will use this wrapping paper. successful. I love how the circle here just, I didn't plan this. This circle just managed to work its way into the corner just so. I like the composition, the way this fell, and I like the color. Not crazy about the craftsmanship, but we are working with a little board book, and this is going to be the base. You may have noticed I was being very precious and careful using a X-Acto knife and a ruler and scissors, and then at the end I just ended up ripping the paper, and I am good with either way. This is, again, this is the base of the cover, so I'm going to be covering this anyway. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to support whatever we're going to be putting on here. I thought about wrapping it around to the spine. I decided against that at the moment. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. And I'm really not sure what direction I'm going in. This has a very masculine quality to it because of the warm, darker colors. And I like that. So I don't know which way I am going to go. I actually haven't looked at any ephemera just yet. I had a couple of images off to the side for what I thought was going to be a collage video, and I kind of like the way they look. I know it's a little scary maybe. That's okay, I like scary. This is actually a transparency. Well, it will be a transparency. It has packing tape on it right now. The circular image of the glasses and the skull and the roundness of the cranium kind of match with what's going on here. So I think we're going to be doing something with that. I have some text going on, some more skeletal stuff. She's pretty. I'm not sure yet, but I think I definitely want to use him. So I'm going to make him into a proper transparency. I need to give him a bit of a dunk. But I like the way this is turning out. Okay, well, let's keep going. These transparencies came out very nice. I'm happy to report. I just had them dry here on a paper towel, kept them the adhesive side up so it wouldn't stick to the paper towel. There are some remnants of the paper backing on the transparency, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. That's where I'm going to bring in my Liquitex and paint it on. Now, the one thing I am thinking about is I didn't really do anything with these edges, and the reason I bring this up is because I'm concerned about the edges in the future getting frayed, getting tossed around. So I'm not sure what to do with that. I'd like to have, maybe just packing tape, because I really love this paper just the way it is. So I'm going to keep working with what I have, kind of a minimalist quality to it. I think I just want these 3 pieces right now, and of course I can always change my mind. Maybe I'm going to need to address the spine, and I did think about what I shared in the beginning, that I want to have something on the spine here that's going to alert me to what year it was, maybe what kind of media I was working in, for reference to look at in the future. So yeah, we'll get to the back soon. But in the meantime, I think we'll just keep it minimal and use these transparencies and finish up the front cover. This is actually a good time for me to share one of my little faults, as it were. I use too much media. I tend to be very heavy-handed with media, as I was with this gel medium. But I want to make sure these images stick. It's a little messy right here. I got a bubble going on. No big. Again, this is this little sketchbook and a little exercise for me. What I am happy about is how the transparency really shows through the images on the back, and I love how this came out. I'm really, really proud of this, so super happy. And sort of solved the problem regarding the edges here, at least for this portion of the cover and this portion. I simply folded over the packing tape transparency onto the other side. They may be able to work into the next design there. This edge isn't really, really tight, or I can cover it up with something else. It doesn't have to be incorporated into the next image, sketch, or whatever it is that I end up doing here. But yeah, this isn't staying super tight. It's kind of folded. I can come back over with packing tape on the inside there, and it won't affect the design here. I really am in love with this wrapping paper. I don't know why I'm so happy about it, because it looks cool, that's why. So yeah, I'd like to get something here, maybe nothing too much, because I love the design. It was like a perfect grid, and it was something fun to work with. So there's the cover, and it will change. It has the right to change. I just like the way it looks. I'm gonna leave it alone for now and start thinking about the back cover and see what comes up for that. All right, so here is my little board sketchbook, the front cover. I did obviously add some extra ephemera. This caution tape ended up in the mail, so it ended up on this cover. A little bit of pink never hurt anyone, so I added that. I actually found this on the floor of my studio, swiped it up, and put it here. And then this little black heart ended up in the upper left quadrant, as well as the dinosaur transparency. You can barely see him, and that's what I'm going for. I thought it would look cool, and I think it does. There is packing tape covering the cover. I just felt better about it. I am protecting these edges. I had a little trouble with this edge, with the curved edges, but again, not worrying about it. It is a learning process, and I am fine with that. So we have a cover, we have a collage cover. I also bent the caution tape onto the other side. This was from her transparency. It was a portion of her shirt, and I liked the way it came out, so I threw it on, as well as bending over the focal point transparency. I think they're both kind of a focal point, but they're not vying too much for power in the composition. Anyhow, that is what I accomplished. I am excited and pleased with the way it is turning out. I believe we're going to leave it alone. Well, I kind of have to, because I did go ahead and add more packing tape, so there's really not too much more I can do with it, and that's fine. So we got many more pages. I think I may be doing a playlist just for this sketchbook, not sure yet. In any case, I have a new sketchbook to work with, and I hope you picked up a couple of tricks and hacks from me in this video. I'd love to know what you think. I appreciate the comments and the feedback, and of course the viewership. and I will be seeing you in the next video.